Let's move along now to someone who I said last week I think should be fighting at 205. We'll get his take on that and a whole lot more. We're talking to Chris Weidman right now, who is so kind to squeeze us in on this Monday afternoon. He is somewhere in the world, an undisclosed location, taking some time off. Very nice of him to stop by today. Chris, are you there?
Hey, what's up, Errol? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
You seem a little down.
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw my last fight. I got hit with a Cuban missile.
Yes.
So I'm a little discouraged right now. I'm a little depressed. I'm actually not. I'm actually good. So I don't know why I sound like that, but I don't know.
No,
I'm good.
Because I said this to you afterwards. I thought the way you handled it was very admirable, and there's no real blueprint on how to handle a loss, but you showed up to the press conference, which is, somewhat rare, and you answered the questions with a smile on your face, and it was such a big deal to be in New York. Was that a front, like deep down, were you really hurting inside? Because the exterior said something different, I thought.
Obviously, you go into a fight and you're prepared to win, and you're not really prepared for a loss. So it's always a little bit surreal when you lose. But I kind of made sense of the situation pretty quickly. I knew, I made a mistake. I thought I was on my way to winning the fight, and one mistake is all it takes. And that's why that's the beauty of this game. That's why everybody loves to tune in and watch these fights, is because any given moment, any given fight, any given fighters, anything can happen. And a fighter who could win 9 out of 10 times, there's always that one time. And I'm not saying that's me and Yoel, but that's what makes the sport beautiful. And I was on the tough side of that night. It was UFC 205. It was the first fight ever in New York. It was a dream come true for me. And after the fight, I tried to. Obviously, I was definitely hurt. After the fight, as far as my feelings. I was upset, but I realized the blessings. Just being a part of that event really was a dream come true. Minus losing, the walkout, even fighting. I had fun the whole week. It was all great up until the loss. But even that, it's just part of the game, and I got to get right back on that horse and get back out there and get a W. And I just want to be done losing. I don't want to lose anymore. So I'm really this loss definitely motivated me a lot. I'm very excited to get back out there and start proving that I'm the best in the world and get a W under my belt.
So up until the third round, because the finish came early in the third, how would you assess your performance? Were you happy? Did you feel like you were doing enough to win the fight?
Yeah, I felt good. First round, I definitely, won. I got, in my head before the fight, I wanted to create as much wrestling scrambles as possible, any type of wrestling engagement, whether he's taking me down or I'm taking him down, I felt like was in my favor because it was going to tax his cardio. And I know he is obviously great wrestling, but he's more of an explosive guy and then takes his breaks and lulls you into something. So I didn't want to let him have those breaks. I just wanted to keep moving and keep the wrestling as much as possible. And I took him down a couple of times in the first round, and in the second round he took me down. Which I lost the second round. I think it was close, but I think I lost. But he used a lot of energy, which was perfect for me. And I felt going to the third round, I was looking across the cage, and I thought he was done. I just felt like there was no way I'm losing. I win this third round, it's over. And I shot a takedown. If you watch, as far as a technical, if you're a technical person and understand the MMA game, when you fight a southpaw, you always put your head to the side of his front leg. You never go to the back leg. And every one of my takedowns, I hit on him in the fight was to his front leg, my head to the outside of his front leg, which stays away from the danger of a knee or his heavy left hand. And the one time I shot to the wrong side, which I drilled a million times not to do, he came up with that knee. So it was really bad timing, bad mistake, which I told myself never to do, is never to shoot that side. But I felt I had him in a position where he was really tired, and I just wanted to just engage. And I felt like I started kind of feeling like he had nothing to offer at that point, as far as like danger. And I was wrong, and I just made a mistake. I got a little careless, and I obviously paid for it. So you live and you learn. Yeah.
Can you put into words what it felt like the knee, like from my perspective, the way you fell, the blood and all that, it looked brutal. It looked very painful. But for you, what did it feel like? Was it the worst?
I mean, not too bad. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it for any. I don't recommend it to people out there to take knees like that. But honestly, I didn't like feel like I went out. You know, I definitely the flash knockout.
Yeah.
Knockdown or whatever you want to call it. And I actually, you know, he hit me with the knee on the side of my head, and then I came down, hit my eye on my knee. And then as I turned, I was up, I was covering, and I remember just I remember thinking, I knew I got hit with a knee. And I remember just thinking, just keep moving, but the ref stopped it. And I understand why they stopped it, but I felt like, you know, when you go into a fight like this, I always imagine, when I go into any fight, I will always imagine like really bad situations and fighting your way through them. You know, getting hit with a good shot and kind of like just holding on for dear life and scrambling and being able to get to your feet and find a way to win. And that was one of those situations where it was something like I would imagine could possibly happen in a fight. And I'm there and I'm covering up. I'm trying to come move, and they stopped it. But you know, especially when you fight a guy who, you know, is known to get a little tired, you just know that you can get to the other side of a scramble like that, or when he's trying to finish it, you get to the other side of that. If you're able to push through, you know he's in some serious trouble. So that was kind of in my imagination, is just trying to push through that situation. But it didn't work out.
Not trying to set you up here for any excuses, but considering how big of a deal this was, MSG, you've done so much to get to that point, to get to that arena. Did it feel different? Like, did you feel a little more anxious, a little more tentative in hindsight?
No. I felt all right. I felt excited. I enjoyed every moment of the situation. I don't think that affected me. I felt fine in there. I definitely held back on some things when I was in the cage, but I feel like every time you go into a fight, there's some things that you see and you hold back on, you don't do, unless you fight the perfect fight, which happens every once in a while. But usually there's some things that you might feel instinctually and you hold back on, and afterwards you look back and you're like, why didn't I do that? Mm-hmm. There's a couple moments in that fight that I wish I would have done some things differently.
Like what?
There's a situation. I had his back, and I didn't throw my hooks in. I expected him to be a little more slippery than he was, and I anticipated that he wasn't, and I could have probably threw my hooks in on the back and took in his back and started working my jiu-jitsu from top when I took him down, and I didn't. I hesitated and just controlled him. But if I would have won the fight, you know, I really felt like things were going my way into that third round, and if I would have won the fight, I probably wouldn't be thinking about it too much. But
right.
It's there's fights I've had where, you know, you wish you did some things and you don't. But
have you watched it?
So, yeah, I watched it that night. That night I watched it.
Wow. You went home?
I watched it one time. No, I went back to the hotel room, ate some pizzas, and started watching the fight. And I knew what happened. I saw the replay that night. I mean, I saw the knee. It's not like that was a mystery to me. I was pretty clear-headed for being after a fight, like, you know, getting hit like that. And I kind of understood everything that went down. With the Luke fight, I was definitely concussed. Uh-huh. This fight, I had the neurologist was right there, and he didn't even think I had a concussion. He didn't send me to the hospital. I did like the cognitive test, and
wow,
I passed it because I'm a genius. Which, you know, they didn't do a base test, so they didn't realize that. So it's hard to measure a guy with my type of intelligence. But I passed the test, so I felt all right, and I watched the fight, and so, you know, what am I going to do?
How many stitches?
I got 3 stitches from my knee to my own eye, and I got from his knee to my side of my head, I got 7 stitches.
Okay.
So not as much as you think. I know if you watch, like, the blood was crazy. Everyone's really worried for me. I mean, it was perfect timed knee, perfect timed takedown attempt by me. Everything was just perfect in the favor of Yoel for that knee, and so it looked really bad. I mean, he put everything the guy has into that knee. But yeah, I felt all right.
Did you get a look at his post-fight celebration? If so, any issues with it? New York seemingly had an issue because they suspended him for jumping out of the cage, but the marching and all that stuff, jumping out, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, I saw him do that. I saw the replay. I don't know. I mean, the guy was excited. Obviously he's not supposed to do that, so he's getting in trouble for it. But If it was someone else laying on the floor that didn't know, I don't know. I mean, the guys, he just won a huge fight in Madison Square Garden. He was the underdog. He probably was shocked and surprised, and maybe just made a gesture out of just being, shocked and excited. So I don't know. I'm not going to hold him accountable for that, but whatever. If I want to really critique it, I could, but I don't really care that much.
Okay. And then, a family member now of yours, Wonder Boy, fights right afterwards, and I'm sure you watched it, but is any part of you thinking like, oh man, how is he reacting? Because I don't know how you guys do it. Someone who you love, family member fights. Anthony had to deal with this, Anthony Pettis, with his brother, and they lose, and then you have to go fight in a big fight. Did you feel like that affected him at all in the fight? Did you feel guilty at all?
The first thing I said, my wife actually videoed us the first time we seen each other after the fight, and I watched this whole fight. I was getting my stitches, and they did my stitches, and I was able to sit there and watch the fight in the room. And the first thing I did when I saw him, I just apologized to him. Sorry that he had to see what he saw with me. And we had an emotional moment for sure. There's actually a video. The video is pretty pathetic of me and him just sobbing.
Can I see it?
Together, hugging each other for like a good 30 seconds, 30, 45 seconds, I don't know. I felt terrible, and I'm sure it did affect him. It sucks. For me to have to watch that, that was bad. That was brutal to see that someone that you love get hit with a knee like that, and then you got to make that walk next. It definitely, there's no question, it affected him.
So you say you're tired of losing, you want to get right back in there. Had you won, I would have said you were, a layup for Brooklyn. Is that too soon now? So close to Long Island, but it's not that far away. Is that what you want, or do you want to wait a bit?
No, I'm ready to go. I'm already back in the gym. I already got some workouts in and did some jiu-jitsu at the pads. Been working out, been doing my old fitness stuff, lifting and stuff, and I feel good. I just want to get back in there. I don't want to wait too long after a loss like that. Especially coming off 2 losses. I just want to get out there and have fun. So Brooklyn is definitely not out of the question. I haven't been in touch with the UFC. I know Dana, he was like, it'll take a couple weeks, hang out with the fam, and then give me a call. So I haven't done that yet, but I want to fight in Brooklyn. That would be awesome. So, yeah.
So
I'm ready to go.
I've been saying that I think it's a brilliant move if you go up to 205 because the path to the belt is it's a lot shorter. The line is shorter. The queue is shorter. You used to wrestle it around that way. You have wins over the likes of Ryan Bader and Phil Davis back in the day in wrestling. What do you think about this idea? Should I stop talking about it, or is it a possibility?
It's definitely something that's a possibility. I could definitely, be the size where I'm not getting, outgunned. I think, but I would need a little bit more time. I could walk around like 215.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm at right now. But a lot of these guys are walking around 230. So I would need a little time to go up. And but to be honest with you, my time, I really do feel like I'm the best in the world at middleweight. And in my last 2 fights, I haven't shown it. So my words don't mean anything to you, but me and my coaches and people around me believe in that. And I get it. There's definitely some contenders, but I feel like 1, 2, possibly 3. I don't know how many wins it takes, but I want to do it fast though. I want to fight, like you said, probably in February, and fight again 2 months later, 3 months later, whatever it is, and do it again. And I just feel like with my accolades I've already had, and with the good competition that there is in the middleweight division, it doesn't take me too many wins to get people excited about me fighting for the title again.
Okay, fair enough. Have you thought about who makes sense next yet?
A little bit. I know Whitaker just won. I'd definitely fight him if people are excited about that.
Yeah.
So one of these, I'd fight some of these up and coming guys.
Okay.
I'm down for that. Any of these up-and-coming guys that feel like they want to get a title shot could help. If they're able to beat me, then they're right there. If not, I think that shoots me right up again. So one of those guys I think makes sense, or some of the other top 5 guys. I don't know, Jacare, Rockhold. Who else is there?
Musasi.
Obviously, now Yoel's fighting Bisping, right?
Yeah.
So, Musasi. Musasi would be another one I'd be interested in.
How about you and Bisping exchanging pleasantries on Twitter? Has the beef been squashed?
You really got sick of me talking about who I'm fighting next. I just went right off of that.
Well, no. I mean, we went through all of them. I don't want you to call out number 15 and then you get stuck in a fight that makes no sense. I'm trying to cut the line. You know,
you're stopping me quick. I appreciate that. I don't really know what I'm talking about right now, guys. I'm walking around a pool here. I'm just naming guys. But wait. What were you saying?
Bisping sending you the tweet.
Yeah, that was nice of him.
Yeah, right.
You know, the guy. With all the stuff we said back and forth, I mean, I am happy for the guy. He has accomplished a lot, and he had a long career of ups and downs and never got even a title fight. And he stepped in when I got injured against Rockhold and made it all work. And he got another W against Henderson, whether that fight made sense at all or not. But he did, and so he's defended his belt now. And for that guy to go through as many losses as he has, and then come out the other end, I definitely respect him for that. And it's motivation for a guy like me now. You know, I was up on top for a while, and I lose 2 in a row. And you look at a guy like Bisping, who's been in the game, I don't know how many years he was in the UFC, and never had a title shot. And he kept working, and the opportunity came, and he made it work. So, I could kind of see how that's motivational for me, or anybody who has any setbacks. So he's definitely a motivational story. He is a motivational and inspirational story for anybody.
Romero Bisping, who do you think wins?
I'll tell you one thing: the five round thing for Bisping, for Yoel, is not a good thing. It's not the best thing for him. But obviously he's a dangerous guy. But the way I fought, I think Bisping can kind of do that type of style, the moving and the punching. But I don't think Bisping, he's not going to be taking him down, which definitely adds an extra tool there. I'd have to say unless Bisping was able to just stay away from him and outpoint him for 5 rounds, I don't see him knocking him out. I don't see Bisping knocking him out. I don't see Bisping finishing him. So it would have to be I would say Yoel finishing Bisping is definitely probably the most probably the thing that I think will happen. Yeah, I'm gonna say Romero most likely will finish Bisping, but Bisping does have a chance of tiring him out and mixing it up and outpointing him out there for sure. Look what Bisping's done.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's proven me wrong a couple times now. Yeah. So there's no. I'm definitely not writing him off at this point. But it's hard to put down Yoel at this point. I just got kneed in the head by the guy in North. The biggest fight card ever. So I can't. I'm not going to start criticizing him. I look like a fool. So maybe after I win a fight or two, I get to beat him up, then I could talk about him. But as far as now, I can't say much.
Chris, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for talking to us on this Monday, and I'm looking forward. Brooklyn, again, like MSG, it wouldn't be the same without you. And if you want it, I hope you do get a spot on that card against anyone out there. I'm sure you take it. So I'm glad to hear everything's okay. Enjoy a bit of time off, and again, thank you very much for the time.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Take care, guys.
All right, there he is, Chris Weidman, stopping by. Great stuff from him.